All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
Rightio legends, Chaos Chronicles, and we're back with another video. And I'm sorry I haven't posted for a couple of days, but I actually have just been out of hospital. I had surgery done. If you can see that there. But yeah, so actually had surgery done from a tattoo needle that was stuck in my chest from a homemade tattoo needle from 2017. Migrated through my chest cavity and was actually lodged against my lung. Anyway, long story short, had surgery. I'm out now. But today we're going to do a video on Dino Dibra. And yeah, before I do that, if you guys haven't already jumped down there and shot me a subscription, please do that now. If you're enjoying my content, it's the best way to show your support, and I really, really appreciate it. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll never miss any of my clips again. I am the Chaos Chronicles, and we talk about everything Australian crime, prison, mostly Victoria. They're alike, and that's what we do. All right, so let's go. Dino Dibra. So, who is Dino Dibra? So, he's well known, probably more well known since the Underbelly series came out. And you know, he played a pretty big part in that. But who is Dino Dibra? So, Dino Dibra was somebody that he was born in 1975, so you know, he's a few years older than me, and was born in the Sunshine area, wasn't actually born into a life of crime, so didn't come from a crime family or anything like that, was just hanging around with the people that were in that life. And so those people consisted of people like Paul Kalapalidis and Benji Veneman and stuff like that. So, you know, although he wasn't, you know, born into a life of crime, he jumped headfirst into the life of crime in the 90s. And so I don't know of Dino Dibra doing much prison time actually, and probably under 2 years to be honest. But I know he went to prison in about 1995 for like threats to kill and threats to inflict serious injury, and done 6 months for that. And then the year after, he was done 18 months for like driving offences, like evading police and stuff like that. And that's pretty much the only times I know of Dino Dibra being in prison. And although he did do prison, I never seen him in prison. Um, but yeah, you know, he started making a name fairly early on in the gangland wars, in the Underbelly wars, whatever you want to call them. And so he was a part of the crew, what they called the Sunshine Crew, which are mostly all unalived right now. And so he was a part of that crew, and they were well known for, like, you know, at the time they were well known for having grow houses, marijuana stuff, and you know, pretty bulk amount drug dealers. And it wasn't until like it was only a couple of years before Dino Dibra was alive that he really kind of stepped into the underworld and started, you know, making a name for himself as a hitter, or whatever you want to call it, a bit of a hard man, someone who's willing to put the tools to work, so to speak. And so, you know, he kind of jumped into it. It is widely believed that um, Dino Dibra was the person who unalived Mad Charlie Hiaji. I don't know how to say that name, but Mad Charlie anyway. It is widely believed that, you know, he unalived him, if you go by all the documentation on Google and stuff like that. But obviously he was unalived before he could get charged with the unaliving of Mad Charlie. And then in 1998, there was a shooting that happened outside Dome nightclub. Now, if you guys don't know about Dome nightclub was like the first kind of club I ever went to that had like a gangster like thing about it. And so like you literally could not get into Dome nightclub unless your name was on one of the VIP lists. And I actually used to get into Dome when I was like 16, 17 years old. I used to go with one of my older mates, and yeah, he used to chuck me on his list. And I remember seeing all these likes and types in there, and it was the craziest club. I remember my mate saying to me, "You're going to spin out when you get here. Like, this is the biggest gangster club in Melbourne, and it's also a transvestite bar." And I didn't believe him for 1 second. And then when we got in there, he took me down the back, and sure enough, there was like a transvestite bar there where there was, like, I'm talking big steroid freaks wearing like fairy tutus and stuff like that. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen, and big steroid freaks wearing like fairy costumes just literally blew my mind. But this place was very, 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 very well known for a gangster location. And so, yeah, it is believed that in 1998 that he shot one of the bouncers out the front. So he was charged with that. And although he was remanded for a little bit of time over that, he didn't do much time over it and was going through his trial process when the unaliving of Dino Dibra took place. So it's he was charged with it, and although he never got convicted of it, the chances are he probably would. I know there was like video footage and everything like that, and and then in 1999, I believe it was, they had a run in with Mad Richard. Mad Richard Mladnich, if you guys don't know, he's the crazy guy from Underbelly who, pulls the plastic alien type gun on the police when they come into his house and blah blah blah. Anyway, Underbelly made Mad Richard out to be like somebody that he wasn't. So Mad Richard was named Mad Richard for that fucking reason. He was an absolute fucking psycho, and actually used to call himself King Richard. And so it's widely known that he used to walk around calling himself King Richard in Pentridge, this and that. So anyway, he was a very, very, very dangerous person. And Underbelly, I think, made him out to sound like something that he wasn't. And yeah, so take it from me that Mad Richard Mladnich got that name for an absolute reason. And so, yeah, in 1999, so Dino Dibra and his Coe got charged with kidnapping and assaulting Richard Mladnich when they were actually. So what happened on Underbelly is pretty close to what happened, but not really what really happened. So they were seen at a servo that he did get out of the boot in the servo. They're believed, it's alleged that they've put him back in the boot and drove away, and then because they had the number plates and stuff, the police anyway approached them, and they were actually caught with Mad Richard Mladnich in the boot of their car. So yeah, they were charged with kidnapping and assault over that. And I believe both of them did spend some time on remand over that. But yeah, still, like I said, I still believe that Dino Dibra didn't do a day over 2.5 years prison in his whole criminal life. And so, yeah, and then if you guys know, you know that Mad Richard Mladnich was unalived shortly after they were charged with the kidnapping and assault on him. So, it is widely believed that they that it is widely believed that they are so Dino Dibra and his co-accused were the people that unalived Richard Mladnich. Now, I'm only going off what the coroner's reports say, what Google says, what the police reports say. So this isn't any information that I have secret information on. This is just common knowledge from Google that I'm saying right now. And so, yeah, they were obviously charged for that in 1999. And then, so unfortunately, Dino Dibra met his demise in the year 2000. So very, very, very early on in the gangland wars. So probably right in about the middle of it, actually. So it's alleged that he was at his friend's house, his crew's house in Sunshine, and somebody has asked him to move his car, and so he has gone outside to move his car, and so the friends, his crew or whatever, the people that seen it said that they seen two men in black hoodies and masks run up and shoot him multiple times. Now, in the Underbelly series, they make it look like Benji unalived him. Now, there was never any, no one was ever charged over this, and the Underbelly series made it look like that he shot him by himself, but used two guns, because this was the theory that was going around in the very start. And so that is widely what believed happened. And then I guess over the years, as people's loyalties drop off, people die, people are in prison, stories emerge, and it has emerged that there were two people that unalived Dino Dibra. Now it is widely believed all over, all the newspapers have printed about it, that it was Benji and it was Paul Kalapalidis that unalived Dino Dibra. Will there ever be any justice on that? I guess not, because every single prime suspect in his murder is absolutely unalive now, so I don't think that there will ever be any justice on Dino's unaliving, but also I don't think there will ever be any justice on the people that he is believed to have unalived also. It's over 20 years now and still no information coming forward. So, yeah, I would say that the people that did that are not alive now anyway. And even if they were, chances of them making a conviction this far on down the track, when loyalties and stuff like that, and like I said, most of the underbelly characters are either in the ground or in prison for the rest of their life. So, well, there you go, guys. That was Dino Dibra, and as much as I know on Dino Dibra, it's not as much as I know about the others, but still, there you go. That's my video on Dino Dibra and what I know about Dino Dibra, the young Albanian that was, unalived, very short on in his career, and like most of the people in the Underbelly saga, they were all. There's not many people that lived through that, and so unfortunately, he met his demise pretty early on. And like I said, I don't think there will ever be any charges laid over this. And I think that this will be something that'll be open forever. Well, there you go, guys. That's my video on Dino Dibra. If you guys have got anyone else you'd like me to do any videos on from the Underbelly series or whatever, chuck it down there in the comment section. I'll do my utmost best to do that for you guys. And also, if you guys have got any questions that you'd like me to answer, also chuck them down there in the comment section of this video. And like I always say, I can't answer every single question with a video, but I do my best to get around to them. I do answer all my comments. It is getting harder and harder, I do admit. But all right, guys. I have been the Chaos Chronicles. Don't do drugs in jail, and you don't do drugs and crime, and you won't end up in jail, rather.
The Chaos Chronicles, where the darkness thrives. True tales of